Today we'll be looking at the DBA by the Hawk tool. This is basically your alert mechanism, the way in which the DBA is alerted to any incidents or performance problems within their database environments. The DBA by the Hawk tool can be activated through the DBA administration console. As you can see here, the Brother Hawk is available. So if you click on Alert Rules, this brings up a screen of over 140 alerts. At this stage, we're obviously not going to look through each and every alert, but what we can show you is that these alerts can be enabled through these checkboxes here. As you can see, a number of them have already been configured for this environment. Not all of them. You've got to be able to specifically judge where you want to implement certain alerts and how you want to implement certain alerts, and whether they suit your environment or not. So the question is, how would you go about doing this? Well, there's 140 already configured, but if you wanted to change the thresholds or the alerts as to when they're activated, the time frames they run, you can do this through the edit screen. So if we click on edit, so having clicked on edit, we're presented with a wizard that will walk us through the steps to edit your alerts. So if we click on next, we can see that the name of this alert is the DB catalog overflow alert. A description is provided. We can see that it has been enabled. You can disable from the same screen. So if we click on next, this is the execution window. So this is where you tell or configure the alert to certain time frames. So if your working day was 9 to 5, you can just easily change that here, 9, and drop that down to 5. So this alert would only be activated between those time frames. And we can see that Monday to Friday has been ticked in these checkboxes. So that alert will run through to Monday to Friday. If you wanted weekend cover, you can activate this easily enough. And you can also change the check frequency, the number of times to check for that alert. So you can change this to 60 minutes. We click on next. The various filters involved, server filters, instance filters, easy to follow, presented in a simple, readable format. We click on next here, the database metrics being used. This create will be used to set up other metrics, to create your own metrics. Cancel out of that. We click on next. This is another interesting part to this alert. So what this tells us is when that alert will be activated. So for example, if it was just an alarm, the threshold would need to reach greater than 4. For a warning, it would need to be greater than 2. So this can be changed. You can easily go into these fields and change that to 10. You can click on this one and change that to 6. And on you go. And this again presents us with the alert message itself. So the subject, the format of the message, whether you want it to be HTML or in plain text format, the body of the message, what you want within the message. So it's a whole package here that we're presenting. What we've got here is the email alert list. So currently it's configured to the default DBA alert list. We'll go over this later on, and how you set up your emails and how you push those emails out. And here, what we have here is the alert squelch. So when the alert gets pushed out to the user, and how many times you want that duplicated over the period of time. So for example, if we wanted this to not send out any duplicates, we can just click that checkbox there, so do not squelch. However, if you wanted the alert to be sent out again, say within a 2-hour period, you can change this to 120 minutes, and that would mean that you'll receive your first alert and it won't be repeated until it will duplicate for another 2 hours. So you'd receive another alert then. And that is basically the editing process. So there's a lot of configurations you can tailor for your particular alert, and then you get a summary at the end of this to make sure that everything you've done you're happy with. So you just walk through this, check frequency 60 minutes, all the filters, we've left those as defaults. We changed some thresholds. Moving on to the alert message, we didn't change anything in there, and we left that to the default. And then the squelch criteria, we did change this to 2 hours. It was previously set to 4 hours. So I'm quite happy with that, and I'm happy that worked fine. So I'll finish that off, and that's ready to run. So much in the same fashion as editing your alert, you can also add your own user created alerts. So as we have done before, previously editing, you can just click on the add button. Again, you're presented with a wizard, and you just work your way through this wizard and set up your own alerts. So for example, if you wanted to set up an alert for HADR, detect HADR is down, you can name it, you can enable it here or disable it, because you may want to disable it here and then just run a test against that alert rather than having it enabled straight away. It's your choice, it's your preference, it's very flexible. So again, the time frames you want to set up for this alert, click on next. The filters, we're going to leave them as the default. We'll leave this as it is because we've not really configured anything here. We're just trying to break down as to how you can do this. And then you can set up your thresholds here, where you can say HADR is down longer than 30 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever time frames is suitable for your business. And we'll leave that as the default. So we click on next. This is where you have your email set up, so you can add a list. Click on next. We're going to use email. We'll click on next. Next again, we're happy with that distribution list. Finish there. And we click on next again. Do not squelch. Yes, I would like that, and I would like it more often, because if HADR is down, we would probably like it to duplicate it quite a bit. So maybe after 30 minutes as an example. So we click on next here. This provides us again with that summary window of what you've just set up. Again, make sure you check through this, because you may not have configured things that you wanted to configure in the right way. So we'll have a quick look through this. Yep, we're happy with that. We click on finish and your alert has been set up. It's as simple as that. So final part of the jigsaw is the configurations. So we click on Brother Hawk up here. You've got your various options within this list, within this drop down. You can add your alert rules, your email list, etc. So if we look at email list here, this is the current distribution list that has been configured. We can add an additional list if we like. We can delete this list. We're going to edit. So this list name is DBA alert list. You can change its name. You can change the description. You can add and remove members. So if we wanted to set up a new member here, we can just set test at test as an example. So it adds that additional user there. Very easy to add emails, email list. And if you wanted to add a new list here, you can just click on there and add a new list name, test, and follow the same process. So that's how you would add your email lists. Further configurations which you can make use of, or you can view your alerts from this screen. So view the alerts that have been previously sent out or previously notified to the DBA. As you can see here, there's a whole host of them. So a lot of detail here, a lot of detail provided, but for more detail provided for each individual alert, if you double click and you can view the alert. So here this will tell you the priorities, the status, what was going on, who the email was sent out to. So a lot of information is again provided. Close that. Actually, before we close that, you can purge this list of alerts. So if your list is being extensive and growing and growing and growing, as each alert is being sent out and emailed out to the DBA or to the client, you can purge this list and clear your list of alerts. So let's close that. So that concludes our DBI Brother Hawk demonstration today. Again, I would like to point out the tight integration that this DBI product has with the DBI administration console. As mentioned before with other demonstrations, all DBI products are tightly integrated. The same goes with Brother Hawk. It's tightly integrated with DBA administration console, and that is the beauty of these DBI suite of products and performance tools. So in conclusion, thank you very much, and please look out for other DBI demonstrations.